There is a voice in your head. It comments on everything. It judges, it compares, it explains, it remembers, it worries, it plans. It says, "This is my life. This is my problem. This is my path. This is my awakening." And because it has been there for so long, you may have assumed that this voice is you. But is it? The voice appears. That is all. A thought appears. That is all. A feeling appears. That is all. Then another thought comes and says, "This is happening to me." And suddenly, life has an owner. Suddenly there is a person at the center. Suddenly there is a story. This story is what we may call the little me. The little me is not an object you can find. It is not sitting somewhere inside the body. It is not hidden behind the eyes. It is not a little person operating the whole machine. It is more like a narrator, a familiar voice, an endless audiobook. It turns what is happening into my life. It turns thought into my thought. It turns pain into my pain. It turns seeking into my spiritual journey. And then it becomes exhausted by the very story it is telling. The little me says, "I want peace." But it also says, "I must control life to get peace." It says, "I want silence." But it keeps talking about silence. It says, "I want freedom." But it imagines freedom as something that will happen later. To me, for me, because of me. This is the movement of the seeker. The little me looks for an end to the little me. The voice tries to silence the voice. The thinker tries to think its way out of thought. The wave tries to become the ocean. It is hopeless, and it is not a problem. The little me is not wrong. It is not a mistake. It is not an enemy. It is simply what appears, like a cloud, like a wave, like a sound in the room, like weather passing through the sky. The problem begins only when the voice is believed to be what you are. A thought appears. "I am not enough." Then another thought says, "This is true." Then another thought says, "I must fix myself." And now there is a whole spiritual project. A seeker has been born. The little me loves projects. It wants to improve. It wants to become calmer, more loving, more present, more conscious, more awakened. There is nothing wrong with any of that. Life may appear as meditation. Life may appear as therapy. Life may appear as prayer. Life may appear as walking in the forest. Life may appear as watching television with a cup of tea. But none of these things create what you are. Being is already here, before the practice, during the practice, after the practice, and even when no practice happens at all. The voice in the head says, "I understand." Then later it says, "I have lost it." It says, "I was present yesterday." Then it says, "I am not present today." It says, "I had a deep experience." Then it says, "How can I get it back?" Do you see the movement? Every experience becomes another possession. Every insight becomes another memory. Every moment of peace becomes another thing the little me tries to keep. But what comes and goes cannot be what you are. Peace may appear. Peace may disappear. Silence may appear. Silence may disappear. A beautiful state may appear. A beautiful state may disappear. The little me says, "I had it. I lost it. I must find it again." But the one has not moved. The ocean has not lost a wave. The screen has not lost the movie. The space inside the cup has not been separated from the space outside the cup. Only a thought says something has been lost, and that thought also appears in what is never lost. The little me is built from ownership. My thoughts, my feelings, my body, my past, my future, my awakening, my failure. But look closely. A thought appears before anyone owns it. A feeling appears before anyone claims it. A sound appears before the mind names it. A breath happens before the thought says, I am breathing. Life is already happening. Then the voice arrives late and says, I did that. The action happens. Then the mind claims ownership. The decision happens. Then the mind tells a story about why it chose. The emotion happens. Then the mind says, this should not be happening to me. But where is this me? Do not answer too quickly. The mind will say, here, I am here. But that answer is also a thought. The feeling of being a separate person may appear in the body, maybe in the chest, maybe behind the eyes, maybe as tension, maybe as a contraction. But even that is appearing, even that is known, even that comes and goes. The little me is not the owner of experience. It is part of the experience. This is not something to believe. It is not a new philosophy. It is not a spiritual idea to carry around. It is very simple. The voice appears. The body appears. The world appears. Thoughts appear. Feelings appear. The sense of me appears. And all of it appears in the same undivided being. Nothing stands outside of it. Not even the voice that says, I am outside of it. The little me often fears disappearing. It hears words like no self or the end of the seeker, and it imagines death. But the body does not need to disappear. Ordinary life does not need to disappear. Breakfast does not need to disappear. Bills do not need to disappear. Friends do not need to disappear. What may disappear is only the belief that life belongs to a separate owner. And even that disappearance is not in anyone's hands. It happens, or it does not happen. Either way, being is not waiting. The little me cannot bring about its own end. That is why spiritual effort becomes so tiring. The seeker tries to become free, but freedom is not an achievement for the seeker. Freedom is the absence of the one who needs to achieve it. The mind cannot understand this because the mind works by dividing. It turns the one into two, me and life, seeker and goal, problem and solution, now and later. But oneness is not reached through division. Oneness is not reached at all. Maybe thoughts are loud today. Maybe the inner narrator is busy. Maybe it is saying, I still do not understand. Fine, let that be here. Maybe it is saying, this is too simple. Fine, let that be here. Maybe it is saying, I need one more explanation. Fine, let that be here too. The voice is allowed to speak. The wave is allowed to rise. The movie is allowed to play. Nothing needs to be pushed away. Nothing needs to be purified. Nothing needs to be turned into a spiritual success. The little me is like a character in a movie. The character has hopes, fears, plans, memories, problems, a name, a history. In the movie, all of that matters. The character lives, speaks, moves, chooses, fails, succeeds. But the screen is not trapped inside the character. The screen is not improved when the character becomes spiritual. The screen is not damaged when the character is confused. The character appears on the screen. The confusion appears on the screen. The search appears on the screen. The moment of clarity appears on the screen. And the screen remains untouched. You are the screen. You are the movie. You are the actor. You are the audience. And yes, you are the popcorn too. Nothing is separate. The little me is not outside the movie of life. It is part of the movie.
and the movie itself is not separate from the screen. So even the one who claims your life is already life appearing.
This recognition is not cold. It is not distant. It does not make life meaningless in a sad way. It simply removes the heavy center, the one who must control everything, the one who must become enlightened, the one who must get life right, the one who must finally arrive. When that center is not believed, life is lighter, not always pleasant, not always calm, not always easy, but lighter, because there is no owner carrying the whole universe on its back. So listen again. The voice in the head may still be here. It may comment on these words. It may agree. It may disagree. It may say, "This is beautiful," or "This is nonsense." No problem. That voice is not an obstacle. It is simply another appearance, another wave, another line in the movie. The ocean does not mind the wave. The sky does not mind the cloud. Being does not mind the little me. Nothing needs to happen now. There is no exercise, no method, no conclusion, just this simple possibility. The voice you call me may not be you. It may be only a voice, a thought, a movement, a wave. And what you are is not separate from it, not trapped inside it, and not limited by it. The little me says, "This is my life," but life simply lives. The little me says, "I am searching," but the search simply appears. The little me says, "I want freedom," but freedom is already what is. So let the voice speak. Let thoughts come. Let thoughts go. Let the story unfold. There is nothing to fix, nothing to become, nothing to hold. The little me may continue, or it may become quiet. It does not matter to oneness. The ocean is water when the wave is high. The ocean is water when the wave is still. You are not the voice that claims your life. You are the life in which the voice appears. And even that is only a pointer. There is only this, already whole, already free, already here. If this spoke to something quiet in you, stay here for another talk and like and subscribe to the channel. Not to get closer, not to become complete, only because this too is life appearing as it does. Thank you for listening.